So now I like to actually introduce someone who is very dear to me. In the video. Okay. You can go in rhythm or you could just change around. I hope you got to see my friend and I playing piano together. And actually it is the long hair person is me. As you know, I don't have a long hair anymore, but that was several years ago. I did an improv work performance and he came up to play with me. So this friend just died about 10 days ago. So I will be thinking about him and creating something in his memory today with you. We are going to create a pandemic memorial, and you are really free to do it in any way you want. But what I'm going to present will be collage. So here is my friend and I, just after we performed together. We were smiling, and he died. So this is what I'm going to use as a base of my collage. You can use cutouts from magazines, or you can rip them out. Sometimes it feels great to rip something. If you have never been allowed to rip anything, I really encourage you to try. Oh no, this one, let's see. Crisis. That sometimes you can cut the words out or letters out. There may be, you may want to look for specific words or just look through whatever you have and then use the word that jumps out to you. So any way you like to do it is fine. Recently, I created a few different kinds of pandemic memorials, and I will put this in the chat, but this has no sound, so you should be able to see it. So this, I actually ripped the paper and I started ripping out different kinds of pictures from magazines, the things we couldn't do during the pandemic. And I titled it Memories We Didn't Have in 2020. The trips we couldn't make, the graduations that we couldn't have in person, etc., etc. And in other one, I actually cut up some of my old pictures from my parents' albums. I don't know these people, but we couldn't go to Japan, and that was a very sad thing. So just having to see a lot of people who look like us just accentuate the fact that we don't live in a place like that, and I miss that. And this one is just rocks and my mother's picture. She died in the 90s. So you could do it in many different forms. There is no requirement to follow the instruction, just to follow your heart. But one constraint is we have only about 20 minutes. And what is important in expressive arts is the process and how you kind of reflect on the feelings during that process, as opposed to creating something that is perfect. Because there's no way to create anything perfect, in the sense that the perfection could mean so many different things. But don't feel pressured that you have to finish everything. So if I start from this picture and then I put only this, decorated this part, that's okay. You can continue to do that later, to finish it later. Or maybe the fact that some parts were left white, left undecorated, maybe there is a meaning for that. And meaning is what each of us makes. So, and I've got some paint just in case I want to use it. Some wrapping paper to rip out if I want to. I don't know what I would do. So now we are going to have about 20 minutes and we will have some sharing time afterwards. Each of us will show, everybody will kind of show your creation, if possible, or if you're willing, so that we can view them in silence. We will be closing very soon, but I put some of the links in a chat. So if you scroll back, you can see my pandemic memorial blog. Now, I also put another link, not really knowing what people's stories are. That is the North Carolina Advanced Directive. That is a form to make a decision about your end of life care. And it didn't sound like anybody would, if it might be interested, but sometimes when there's a lot of people are dying, it's important to think about what you may want, or what kind of care you might want to have at the end of your life. Even when you're young, we just don't know when those things happen. Or maybe encourage your family members who are a little bit closer to that time. For me, the pandemic really pushed me to finally do mine. But if you have any questions about that process, let me know. I work as a healthcare chaplain, and we help people fill that form. So, just for information. So, thank you very much for coming. And I like to end with something that might or might not sound familiar to you. It won't look familiar to you, but, well, maybe it does.
Is that pound cake?
It's a bunt pan, yes. But it sounds like a temple bell to me. And I miss it very much. So, coming from Japan. Thank you for spending the time with me. And you can always experiment with anything in your house. Just hit them and see what sound it makes, right? Enjoy the rest of the afternoon.